Saludos y bienvenidos to the PGP podcast. Hey, everybody. Happy Sunday. Josh Tobar, proud principal of Memorial Pathway Academy in Garland, ISD, Garland, USA. Ready to rock and roll and learn from others, especially right now. This whole SPED topic, 504 part of it. I mean, everything is wacky. We need some knowledge to be dropped to ensure that we provide the best environment for all our scholars. But before we get into that right there, remember that the PGP podcast is part of the Fantastic Four Network with every Saturday, Super Saturday, with Sean Hurd at 10 o'clock, all Facebook times, Eastern Standard Time. We're the only weirdos in Central Time, 10 o'clock. And then you've got Tammy and Shika at 10:30 and Jefe 10:55, all subsequently following each other, learning. We're all different, but we're all the same. And your PGP podcast is the anchor of the network on Sundays at 5. Jefe, at 5. Jefe, a las 5. You keep on asking during the show, a las 5, Jefe. But we got our favorite cheerleader, Dot McGeary Jeter, who tells us all what time it is. So please make sure that you like and share the show. It's very important. The algorithms of all of this, the trauma-informed shows that we've had, the happy shows, the principal roundtables, the AP roundtables, the bus drivers, the cafeteria workers, the mayors, the chief of police, everybody that addresses education, they're all there at your disposal. So please help the algorithm. So if you want to see something a lot, you got to click the like and you got to share it. That way you're going to see this more often on your thread. So please help us out. Right now, if you haven't done so already, please, right now, if you haven't done so already, go to our YouTube, Josh Toad, and like it and click the little bell. Hey, trust me, ain't no one getting paid on this thread. It's about free PD for you, free PD for me, because I don't know about you, Moreno, but I learn as much as anybody else does hearing from all these experts. So if you want to be part of this show, you want to be part of it, we need you. We're around the corner, Moreno, to 100 shows, and we're already booked all the way to the start of 2026, but we need more guests, more awesome shows, and you, my friend, you. Hey, South Dakota, I'm looking at you. Hey, Idaho, I'm looking at you. We need you to bring that experience and be part of the show. Hey, Moreno, how are you doing? Where are you right now in America?
I am in South Texas. That's where I'm at. The place I usually am. But no, Josh, I'm doing great. I went to go see a Baylor Kansas State game yesterday because I just needed to take care of myself. And so I had to go do that for, enjoy myself, enjoy my sanity. And now I'm in South Texas. I'm doing a little bit of work down here. And then I'm going to Guatemala, I think, next week. Quick.
Next week,
it's going to be quick. Yes, it'll be quick. But yes, I need to go. There's a school over there that they want me to go check out. So go check it out.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So if you ever want to travel abroad and bring your knowledge to different parts of the world, that lady right there is a person to reach out. She puts most of her crucial information on IG. She's more of an IG person. So reach out to her on that so that you get that information. Real quick, this is our Chinchilagua moment. Hey, Chinchilagua. Renisha's like, Chinchilagua? Coach is like, what is Chinchilagua? How do you eat that? Do you put sour cream and jalapenos on it? No, Coach. No. Chinchilagua is a Mexican game. And what you do is you line up against the wall and you yell, Chinchilagua y arriba, boy. And you run and you jump on top of your grandma. Then the next person jumps up on top of their uncle. Then you jump on top of your cousin until the pyramid falls down. It's all fun and games until it comes crashing down. Well, what do I mean by that? Hey, it's October. Can you believe that, Moreno? We're on week 9. We are in week 9. The first report card's about to finish. And a lot of the honeymoon is about to finish. Mm-hmm. As you start in the second report card, this is when the cat scratch fever. This is when you start getting a bunch of weird stuff going out there. So that's why it's crucial that all the procedures that you established since August, I don't know, East Coast, you started in September, you got to keep those procedures going. You can't, air quotes, get tired. Because if you get tired and you get lazy with one protocol then it's going to be easy for you to say no, a second protocol. It's just like a diet. The second you cheat the first time, that's it. You're going to keep on chowing on those chips. So don't do it. Don't cheat on what your vision is. Because you see, it's not about the beginning. Oh, they're behaving right now. It's September. Oh, they're behaving right now. They're doing their work. It's October. No, it's when the cray happens. It happens in November. And then towards December, that's when the chaos happens. So you have to stand strong to your protocols and hold tight right now. Don't let go. And right now is when people start getting a little bit, air quotes, tired. I don't know what that means. What I mean by that, everyone has a different definition of tired, just like a different definition of cold or hot. We're all in our own spectrum of what that is. But if you're going home and you already feel that lead blanket coming on, you have to do something about it. Be proactive, be structured, and let your CLCs, your PLCs all work together to ensure that the structure is going on. Because, baby, this is not a sprint. This is a marathon. Moreno, what do you think?
Josh, I'm just thinking about the good old days when I was a principal. And you know what? You are spot on, because it's all about consistency. And I don't think you said that word. It's consistency. We've been doing this forever now. Well, kind of air quotes forever, since the beginning of the year. And we start kind of letting go. We let go of the gas for whatever reason. And these kids are watching what we're doing. And they will definitely start kind of pushing your buttons. And that's when things start kind of, going a little sideways. So you're absolutely right. And you know what? We can't let go of professional development, making sure we're sharpening our own saws, making sure that we are consistent, and making sure that they know that the kids know that we are on top of things as well. So awesome advice. And I think you are spot on. And, October will be here and it'll be gone. Man, I saw Christmas things at Walmart already. Right? It's crazy.
That's sick. That's sick.
Christmas.
So please, team out there across the U.S., be consistent. Be consistent with every protocol that you do. Especially that's when the kids or other adults or parents will divide and conquer. Mm-hmm. Well, you didn't tell them anything. Because that day you were tired, and that day you didn't want to have a air quotes confrontation with someone. You were just not in the mood. But that's how the chink in the armor opens up wider. So keep that in the back of your mind as you start school tomorrow. Another great show for you to check out is episode 62 and episode 73, our MTSS shows. Those were awesome shows on how to address trauma in the classroom. Yes. But we cannot go any further without bringing in our guests today, who are specialists, who are rock stars, who are on fire with our scholars with special needs panel. Welcome to the show, Dr. Moreno Stick.
Oh my God. You know what? Special education is one of those topics, let me tell you, that most people sometimes kind of want to push it away. And it's something that we need to have in front of us, because we need to address all kids, and special needs kids are just as important. So I'm super excited to have all of you here. Let me tell you, look, I have my pen, my paper. I am ready to take notes. So I hope everybody out there in the virtual world has your pen and paper and ready to go, because we have some superstars today. Guys, thank you again for being here. I know we have so much to kind of discuss and digest, but I want to give everybody an opportunity to know a little bit about our own backgrounds. So I'm going to start off with you, Renisha, since you're just to my right. I want you to give the audience a brief background on the different roles that you've served while in education. Which one was your favorite and why?
Good evening, everybody. It's awesome to be here with my friends, Dr. Moreno and Josh. I've served many roles, but the most important role in education for me is a mother of a 17-year-old 6'9" giant with autism, as his number one advocate, that every time I'm in the room to serve him, people understand that he comes from good stock and that he's our best, is our only child. But I have been a teacher, first generation college graduate, a product of public education. Houston ISD, where I've been a teacher, then an instructional coach, an assistant principal, and an associate principal, and most recently returned to the classroom. For the first time in my life, I've put my family first and working on my doctorate. And in every one of those roles, leadership matters.
You know what? Thank you so much for sharing. And I mean, not often do we hear that we put our family first, because we struggle as a, and you're an associate principal. We always put the school and everything else first. And so thank you so much for sharing. And I'm super excited to hear about autism, because most people don't know what that is or how to address or how to work with students. So I'm glad to hear that you're going to bring that perspective in, especially being a mom. Right. And so thank you again for sharing. And girl, congratulations on starting on that doctorate, girl. You should be proud of yourself. Let's see. We're going to go with Freddie.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Freddie. Tell me a little bit about your background, your different roles that you've served while you're in education. Which one's your favorite and why?
Well, I've been in education over 20 years now. Special education throughout the 20 years. I've gone from co-teach, inclusion, to the resource class, to the functional living skills, to practical academic, all these, different names. Currently, I'm the CRC teacher, community readiness class, and that's been my favorite because those are the most neediest kids. And that's my calling. I love working with those kids, and that's what I enjoy to do. I enjoy doing most.
And which one, did you say which one was your favorite?
CRC is my current role, which is a community readiness class.
And okay, I was going to ask what is CRC, and I'm hoping to hear more about that later, because I know there's a lot of people out there that they just serve special needs students very differently. And I'm hoping that this is the opportunity to really kind of branch out and really support people who may not know other ways of supporting students. So glad to have you, sir. Thank you so much. And last but not least, Coach.
Hey, everybody. How y'all doing?
I'm doing well. I can hear you.
All right. Hey, yeah, this is I'm Coach Goodman. My real name is Adrian, but I go by Coach on all my social media sites. This is year 27 in special ed. I started off, my first year was 99-2000, and I started off as a self-contained autism teacher. Back then we were doing ABA therapy under it was Lovaas out of Rutgers University, but it has evolved. ABA therapy has evolved so much over my 27 years. But I did start off with that, and I moved straight into what we would call a multi-cat class. We used to call it generic, where I basically had students with emotional disabilities and learning disabilities self-contained, and it was all middle school. And I did that for all the way up to my 21 straight years, middle school. Then I moved into what we call an autism itinerant teacher, where I went around to like 13 schools in my district, and I was basically the case manager for certain students with autism, K through 12. And for the past 3 years, I'm what you would call a special services consultant in my district, where I do the compliance, support teachers, and also I'm a part of every initial eligibility meeting in the schools that I'm over.
Awesome. And I'm hoping that we can talk a little bit about how you support. That's a big job, going around and supporting all of those students. So looking forward to hearing a lot of what you do and just ways that you can help us support the folks out in the other 49 states in the world, right? And around the world, because Josh, we're all over the place now.
Most definitely. We're from New Zealand. We've had Australia, different countries in Africa, Canada. We're all over. We're worldwide. We're not Pitbull, but we're worldwide right there. Hey, panel, thank you, everybody. A big shout outs real quick. Todd McKeever for always letting us know who's on fire and to make sure that we log in and support the Fantastic Four Network. Let me scroll up a little bit up here. Kim Littles, thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Constance Sherrard, part of our MTSS show a couple of weeks ago. Thank you. Dr. Melissa Jones Chunu, right, Renisha, right there. Your neighbor up north in Tulsa, Oklahoma, another person you can reach out to. Dr. Edwin Garcia, New Jersey in the house. Valerie Massey, thank you for being here. Jefe, I reached out to Doc, GED to PhD. I think he's an Auburn Tiger. They must have lost. I can't find him. He must be under the sheets crying still that Auburn's not doing good today. But it's okay. We'll get him on the next show right there. Hello, Charlie Ann Banks. Thank you for being here. Valerie Massey. I think we got everybody right there right now. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. So let's peel the onion just a little bit back and twofold. We'll start off with you, Freddie, okay? Who or what inspired you to become an educator? But now, not only to enter education, all right, but why SPED? Make sense? So who made you want to be an educator, and why did you choose that field?
Well, I was in law enforcement before. I was in law enforcement for 12 years, but I kept going to school, kept learning, and, eventually got my bachelor's. And I always wanted to teach. I always wanted to coach. And I do coach. I do coach football and track at this time. And my coaches were my biggest influence. I said, I want to be like those guys. They influenced my life, in every which way. I mean, from the field, off the field, in the classroom. They were my teachers. And I said, one day I got to be like them because they influenced me. They serve such a great purpose. And I said, I want to do that. Now, when I was looking into joining education, I really wanted to do more of the social studies, more of the talking about politics, things like that. I love it. But when I started looking up the vacancies, all you saw was special education. And I said, you know what? This is where I'm needed. This is where the kids this is where the need is at. And I was very hesitant, to be honest. But once I got involved with these kids and really, just saw what they needed. And I said, I'm the guy for that. I said, I can do this. I said, I have to do this because right now it doesn't seem like many people want to do it. So I've taken on that challenge throughout my 20 years. It's never, every day is different. It's never the same. And I just, that's where I belong. I belong in teaching these kids.
Thank you. And I got first hand account that cat right there is on fire with those babies. That man is a great man, great coach. Love him. Thank you for being here. Terry Moultrie on YouTube. Thank you for following on the show. Love the blue hearts. Coach is always working out. Well, but what made you work out, sir, into education and specifically in SPED?
Okay, well, my decision was I was going to be an elementary school teacher or a teacher of students with learning disabilities. So I chose neither. I went straight into what we got, autism. And what happened was my last year of college, I had the opportunity to work at a camp. See, I'm from South Carolina. So we got a lot of camps we got a lot of camps, but we got a lot of land. So it was a special needs camp called Camp Burnt Gin. And I stayed there for 8 weeks. And I got to actually work. It was 24/7. So you're working with a lot of students who are totally dependent on you. Like we would say now in our levels of support, they'll be like level 3 where they need help communicating all at once in their needs. But to answer your question specifically, while I was at camp, the other counselors were in education, and you know how you start vibing with people. You're there, it's just y'all in the woods, basically. And we all kind of decided, like, okay, this is what we need to do. We're going to pick the area of the most need. Either you're going to do low incidence, which is severe, moderate, autism, or the extreme behaviors. And as we know nowadays, behavior and autism is really a forefront in public education. So that's what got me into teaching students with autism and also students with emotional disabilities, which turned in for me multi-categorical. So that's what got me started.
That's such a blessing. Thank you, Coach. And thank you, sir, for sporting South Carolina Gamecocks gear on the podcast, because this is a South Carolina SEC show. Take it. Darn Vanderbilt. Renisha, talk to us.
So I'll tell you that in my household, college was not an expectation for me. I raised by my grandparents. Their focus was for me to graduate from high school without having a baby and being successful. The expectation was to graduate from high school. But my teachers at Cashmere High School leveled the playing field, gave me the opportunity to experience colleges from the cafeteria, where we would have college visits and things like that, and provided me with the access. My teachers bought my prom dresses. They helped me apply for college. They were participating in taking me to college. Applying for college, financial aid. My grandmother had a 6th grade education, and my mother was ill. And my grandmother's expectation was to graduate from high school. But those teachers having given me the access, that's why public education matters. We can't get so big that we get so busy with things that we don't understand that public education is the gateway for students to have access to choices and opportunities. And then when you ask why I became a special education teacher, until last year, let me be very clear. I've never been a special education teacher. I've been the administrator, always over special education. And I hired so many teachers who could not pass the test. And so my goal was, let me just take this test because I understand the law, the legal components of it. Because if I don't get these people to pass this test, I'm not going to have any teachers to teach my babies. And so I took the test to prepare them for the test. And I just decided one day, coming home at 3:00 in the morning from working on master schedule, fell asleep in my garage. And I just said, I untie and I go back to what I know, loving on kids. It doesn't matter the label, the classroom, or the program. If you level the playing field and give kids access, they can be successful.
Facts. Level the playing field for all. Love it. Shout out to Dana Wiltz Tillis. Thank you for being here on YouTube. My sister, another Gamecock fan, Dr. Sheikah Houston in the house. Thank you for being here. Part of the Fantastic Four Network. Stick, Dr. Moreno.
Oh my God. You were talking, Freddie, earlier about there's only, when you only see special education vacancies, it's the same thing for ESL vacancies. It's ESL and special ed. We can't find enough. And kudos to you, Renisha, the fact that you took the test yourself to see what you needed to help your teachers pass that test. That just speaks volume. And so I wanted to just kind of give you a shout out, because that's what we need. Kind of get yourself dirty as well with everybody and making sure that you know what you need to do to make sure that you support your teachers. So thank you again. I just wanted to make sure I set those things, because they were very important points that you both addressed. Let's move on to the next question. And I think this one is one of those that people, they just have different views and different ways of doing this. And I'm going to go ahead and start off with Coach. Coach, can you give me or tell the audience an example of how a regular education teacher and a special education teacher collaborate together? Because sometimes we don't have that teacher that has both certifications. We have to have 2 individual teachers in there. And I've seen it multiple ways. I've seen it done awful, right? Where the teacher is sitting in the back of the room and one is teaching and then the other one goes back and sits. I mean, there's just so many ways. And I shouldn't say it was awful, because people do that, but I don't think it's a use of, resource when you have 2 teachers in the room. But anyways, I don't want to steal your thunder. So, sir, can you please tell the audience a good example? How do 2 people collaborate on the same lesson and support our special needs kids?
Well, first thing, let's go ahead and take the elephant, address the elephant in the room. Um, the when you have a student, that student is a if you have a fourth grade student with an IEP, that student is a fourth grade student with an IEP. Let's start there. And then we got to realize that the specialist in that school for, I'm using fourth grade as an example, is that fourth grade teacher. That is your specialist for instruction. Special education, which is our field, which is our love, we are a service to that student. Like you hear a special ed is a service, not a place. You hear that all the time. Or a final destination. That's what my director says all the time. But it's true. So the specialist is that fourth grade teacher. We provide the supplement, right? The specialized instruction. So how can they coincide? First of all, co-teaching is the best way, right? If the kid is academically able to be in the classroom and to access the curriculum, co-teaching is the best way. But remember, we're on a continuum. So for that student, it may not be co-teaching. It could be pull out, or it could be self-contained. It could be anything. So we're on a continuum where co-teaching is where that student can best access the curriculum. Then, of course, that fourth grade teacher, since we're using them as an example, is the specialist. So the overarching curriculum, lesson plan guide should come from that teacher. Whereas we'll come in there and we'll provide that specialized instruction. We'll provide the scaffolding. We'll provide the differentiation for not only our students, because any accommodation that we're going to provide for our student is good for every student. Trust me, it'll work for every student. So our role is to be a service to that general ed teacher, not an assistant, a service that will help our student access the curriculum.
Well said. I love it. I love everything that you said, because you're absolutely right. Spot on. We're gonna go to Renisha, because she's like twitching. She's doing this. I don't know what she's thinking over there, because I know you have something to say, my friend.
So you cannot wing good instruction for no group of kids. And I will tell you that both teachers in the room are responsible for the teaching and learning of every child. And co-teach is the structure that that's the most best practice, where the kid has access to the curriculum in the room, not take them out to a small room where they're isolated. They will never learn to interact with their non-disabled peers if they're never with their non-disabled peers. Mm-hmm. And I will tell you, with the models of co-teaching, that structure, I believe most in parallel teaching, where we're teaching side by side because we're both service educators, or station teaching, where each of us serve as a station in the room to give all kids access to instruction. And where kids can have an opportunity to learn from both professionals. We're professionals. Co-teachers aren't an assistant. While I've never been a special education teacher to these last years, I've always had special education students in my classroom. So whether it's a para educator, because they are educating, or a certified teacher, every adult in the room is responsible for teaching and learning. And that every student in the room are our students. We're both here to provide every child with quality tier 1 instruction that is purposely planned, that we've collaborated together. Instruction is my passion. That there's some intentional instructional strategies in place where you cannot wing that. You cannot show up doing instruction and be ready for teaching and learning. So that's requires some planning on the back end. And paperwork cannot take precedent over the students in the room. Arts cannot take precedent over that. So all those things have to be truly, truly thought out if you're really going to move the needle. Mm-hmm. So both responsible for instruction of all students, where every person in the room, whether para or educator, is about the business of every child. These are our children, and we're doing some teaching and learning that's purposely planned to give every child access, no matter the label that's attached to them. And that doesn't happen in the pull-out room. That happens in a well-organized learning community where we are teaching and learning every child. That IEP is just going to give them access, quality educators to level the playing field for children.
Renisha, snaps to you, my friend, because, oh my goodness, I think what you said there was all about making sure that we are responsible for every child in the room. I can't tell you how many times people say, I'm only here for that child or these kids. And it's like, no, you're a teacher. You're a teacher just like the other teacher in the room. And we were responsible for everybody. So thank you again for reminding everybody out there who we serve and why we are there. So thank you again. One last time. Man, you're just giving us some great stuff today. Last but not least, Freddie, what do you have to say about this co-teach, this collaboration between the special education teacher and a regular teacher in the classroom?
Well, it's teachers are very territorial. I'll be honest with you. Yes. And when you're in somebody else's class, it's a little difficult to kind of, intervene or put your 2 cents in without getting a little, pushback. However, you just can't stop. You can't use that as an excuse. You have to keep going because in the end, it's the best interest of the child for you to be there and for and serve their needs. One of the I'm very easy to get along with, so I really never really had that issue. However, you have to learn how to work with that teacher as well and learn the content. There's a lot of times where you're pushed into a classroom, you're like, I don't know what they're talking about. What's the topic? So you have to be in those PLCs. You have to even make time to attend maybe a class during your off period and attend a class and attend the lesson that they're giving, so you can be prepared for the next period and be able to help all the kids. And I'm when I used to co-teach or work inclusion, it wasn't just my kids, it was all kids. So anybody that raised their hands, I was right there attempting to help. I'm not going to say I'm the expert, like Coach said. They're the experts and you follow their lead. But you help all the kids that are in that class. You don't single them out. Don't make him feel like he's just here for me. Let the kids know that you're there for all of them. And really, it's just the collaboration between teachers and always think of the best interests of the child. And that's what's helped me get through those co-teach and inclusion years.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Freddie, for sharing, and all of you for providing that knowledge around that co-teaching, that collaborative model that we all must remind ourselves that's what we're there for, right?
Right. And just thank you very much, Charlie Ann Banks, for being here today in your comments. Love the examples you said. Terry Moultrie, I don't even mention you, but thank you for being here. Also, Shika, I see you. My sister from South Carolina, I see you. Thank you for being here. The other member we have all the Fantastic Four today. Coach Sean Hurt in the house. We're going to be talking good, Coach. We're going to do a little bit of Luther. We're going to bring it down slow. We're going to be nice and slow, Coach. So let's, Renisha, we're going to start off with you real quick. And as we know, one of the talking points that is out there in education, it has to do with discipline and students' IEPs and kids in SPED, how the misbehavior aspect of it and everything that's a ripple effect that has to do with that. So I know that there's always the meeting and we always have the goals set for. With your experience being the administrator in charge of SPED and Coach, also, your 20-something years of it, and Freddie, also your years. Renisha, starting off with you, what are some positive support systems besides what's in either the BIP, besides whatever are the goals in the IEP? What are some positive support systems that can be sent out? Because you know that there's an exodus in education. We know there's a big sucking sound. I still have not hired 2 people. I know there's a lot of places with vacancies. All right. There's nobody out there. I mean, there's literally nobody out there for the positions that we have. And so I'm asking you right now, Renisha, what are some positive support systems in managing this behavior, the challenging behavior that has to do with anxiety, with aggression? What do you suggest? What have you seen?
So I would tell you, I've attended Capturing Kids' Hearts 3 times, and
Hold on,
it
break it down.
changed my life.
Well, hold on, okay? Make sure that you talk to people because there's a lot of people out there that don't know what it
They don't
is.
know. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Capturing Kids' Hearts is I don't want to say it's a program. It's the way it's the way you serve children. So I participate in Capturing Kids' Hearts in Round Top, Texas. And it's about how you show up for children. It's not about the label or the behavior. Kids value, want, and need discipline and structure. I want to let that sink in. Kids value, want, and need discipline and structure. If you level the playing field and set the systems in place, from the nonverbal kid to the IB kid, it's the same classroom management. Set clear expectations. Keyword, set expectations. You cannot wing that. So no matter what program you're using, it's about how you show up for children. Are you focused and prepared? And I'm going to say this word that people are going to be, you cannot spend time on your cell phone doing instruction. It's about being present, holding them accountable, keeping them engaged. But what I loved about Capturing Kids' Heart is about letting kids see you being vulnerable. In my culture, as a woman of color, as an educated woman, I'm very much about the business. Let's get to the business. Check the boxes. But kids want to check. I want it done, and I want it done right. But kids want to see your heart, but they also want you to hold them accountable. So I will tell you the structures in place of building better relationships, the structures in place in capturing kids' hearts. All these are programs. Capturing kids' hearts or Character Strong is about who you are, the way you show up for children every single day. I don't want to cry, but it gives me goosebumps to know that if you provide kids with structure, discipline, high expectations, and educate them, we're in the education business, they will fall in line.
Mm-hmm.
And I will tell you, as an administrator, on the other side of that, you have to show up, and not just when there's a discipline consequence. You need to be present. You need to know that craft. When you're in an art meeting, you have to be present. That's your first, that parent is giving you the best of them. And so you must know the craft, but you need to know the child that you're there for, because as the representation of the district, you need to know the craft, know the child, and have been present before the art to speak to the child, not the act. And so I will tell you that the structures in place are critical, but the leadership in place, it doesn't matter your background. If you're serving kids with special education, you must know that craft. Our meeting is not a checkbox, which is why you can't be checking email or on your cell phone, because you're responsible for ensuring that IEP is implemented with fidelity. So you got to be a part of the work. And so I will tell you that it's all about doing what's best for kids, but setting systems in place, systems, being present and holding kids accountable. But I will tell you, as administrators, I can tell you I haven't been back in the classroom in a long time. You never get too busy that you can't be present in a classroom to help. Whether it's changing a diaper or helping with the behavior, because you cannot do this work without those teachers.
Facts. Thank you very much. So true, so true. And as Coach Hurt says that at 10 o'clock Eastern time every Super Saturday, that message goes out to Mr. and Mrs. Potato Plant. Make sure that you listen to that, Mr. and Mrs. Potato Plant. Coach Freddie, what are your thoughts?
Well, yeah, the structure and routine is key, especially the classroom that I'm teaching at this time. Really setting the kids know the routine. In my class, I don't have the issues that other teachers have had. I do have the outburst. I do have the occasional biting, punching, but that's because of the outside factors that entered my classroom. That is not part of our daily routine, and I think some of us have seen that. But in my class, it's very structured, lots of routine, and the kids love it. That's what they see, feel safe when they're in my classroom. There's no issues as far as behavior where they're not being supervised. All of us are. I have 3 pairs in my classroom, thank God, and they're we're all working together to keep our kids safe. You begin by allowing them to feel safe, and then the learning can begin. And I've always lived by if you permit, you promote it. So if you allow certain behavior, you're promoting that behavior, and it goes. I follow that into the football field as well. So it's a classroom football field, and then pretty much in life with my own kids. You allow them to do certain things, they're going to keep doing it until you say, hey, that's not what you're supposed to do. One thing I want to touch on real quick is parent involvement. A lot of teachers are now they're kind of afraid of parents, or I hear that a lot. I'll be careful with this parent. Well, I build a pretty good rapport with the kids that I have in my class with the parent. I have to. If parental support is unbelievable, it's such a great tool. And when you build that rapport, you have that how should I say, the parents can trust you with their kids. It's a lot easier to address certain situations in the class. And most of the time, many times it's happening at home as well. So together, we talk about that village. We can work together to help our kids.
Thank you, Freddie. Appreciate you. Coach Goodman, talk to us.
Oh, yeah. Everything is good. Like I said, you start off with structure. When you look at behavior, y'all remember Coach K, Mike Krzyzewski from Duke basketball? He was toward the end, he was in the midst of a losing season, and the media was getting on him, and they was like, what's going on? Is your style outdated? And here's the quote that y'all can write down, and that's going to be the basis of what I'm about to tell y'all afterwards. His reply to the media was, my plays work. That was his reply. They're in the midst of his plays work. That means he wasn't adjusting nothing. It was the players who need to adjust. Horrible when you talk about dealing with behavior. Behavior is communication. So when I'm dealing with students with, because we do have some severe behaviors, nonverbal students, you got to figure out what's going on, because behavior is communication. Verbal students, behavior is communication. They bring stuff into the school that we don't really know about. That's why we have an IEP team. The LEA, which is usually the LEA is usually administrator, the legal person to make sure that IEP is being followed, right? That's the umbrella. And everybody else, we're all on the same team. So when you're looking at behavior, the first thing you need to do is, especially with the extreme behaviors, is to teach that baby how to request a break, teach that kid how to make an appropriate request. Now, it's not easy. It is not easy, because you have to probably break trauma, break cycles, break routines. I get students who are 5 years old coming straight from the couch to the school. So you don't know if it's a disability or they hadn't been taught it. Then you got the middle school students who probably have bad practices from K to 5th grade. When they get to 6th grade, they don't learn a behavior, a way to communicate that is totally inappropriate. And it's causing them not to get access to the curriculum. Because at the end of the day, you want them to have access to the curriculum. So number one, you have to teach those kids how to request a break. I didn't learn that until we started working with what we call BCBAs. They're board certified behavior analysts. They will start you off with, you got to teach that kid how to communicate their wants and needs and to request a break. And then once you do that, then you look at, how am I going to replace that inappropriate behavior? You have to replace it. You have to teach it. That's our mandate. Parents will send us the best they got. Shoot, some of the parents might come in and learn some of the strategy we're teaching their kids so they can teach it at home. but it is a wraparound type service. I'm telling you. So don't have that Coach K mindset. Your plays don't work. You gotta meet the needs of your players.
So true, so true. We need to support our customers and their parents. Always make sure that we make that connection with them, like Freddie says. And in the end, kids don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And also those parents, you win over the kids, and they feel comfortable with you. You just win over the parents, because the kids will not go home talking trash about your classroom. On the contrary, you'll be walking on water. So in the future, all those credit card deposits that you're doing on the kid, and you have to do some extractions from that credit, you know what? You're up in the game, baby. So you got to make sure you always keep on making those structures, and that insert credit. Hey, Mrs. So-and-so, man, Josh today rocked. He had his hair combed. He didn't throw the crayon at anybody, and he gave me a high five. I'm so happy. Let's have more days like that. Let me tell you, that just took 1 minute. But you know what? That gave you $1 million of credit in that parent's credit card. So don't be scared. Be proactive. Add credit to your credit card with every parent, especially, as Freddie says, with that parent. Moreno, take it away.
With that parent. You know what? Let me tell you, I talk to administrators all the time, and they're like, oh, I don't like calling that parent. I'm afraid of that parent. I don't want to associate, and I'm like, oh my goodness, those are the ones that you need to kind of like call and support and give them some, why they're tired. You know why? I tell you one thing. The reason they are the way they are with you is because you never say something nice about the child. Like, call them and say something nice. They have to do something nice. And I would get tired too if you called me 1,000,000 times and told me that the child threw a piece of paper across the room. Oh my God, pick and choose your battles. Sorry, I just had to oh my goodness, I just get get all kind of crazy when I talk about that. Anyways, let's continue, you guys, because we have so much to cover today. Freddie, I'm going to start with you, okay? Let's talk a little bit about, and you guys mentioned it already, the IEP goals. And so, Josh, Freddie, can you, from your observations, what is, biggest challenge that teachers sometimes face in implementing those IEP goals?
Well, we do our every year we update our goals, or at least are supposed to update our goals. And many times we're, for example, I'm in middle school, we get fifth graders going into sixth grade, and some of the goals are maybe outdated. Maybe you don't see that need in that child when they get to you. And that's because maybe their ARD's coming up, or the meeting's coming up, IEP meeting. And the implementation, some of these goals, to implement some of these goals would take, I don't like pulling out kids, but it would take them, to be taken, or have extra time to implement these goals. Now, the programs that we use, in my classroom, the community readiness class, we use the unique learning system. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. You give them the benchmarks, they give you the present levels, and then you base those goals off of that. Now, in my class, that's my blueprint, that's my game plan, if you want to call it, and that's what I use to differentiate my teaching for each child. I mean, I'm up to 13 kids right now, but with the parents that I have, I share the IEP with them so they can implement it as well, so we can reach those goals. It's a little bit more difficult in the co-teach, grade level curriculum, because some of the, we go back, another topic, the state testing. Everybody wants to reach those goals in state testing. Well, some of the goals that we have in place are not at the level that would have that child pass the state exam. And unfortunately, that's where, the measurement comes from. That's where that stress comes from for everybody, from teachers to students. And that's unfortunate, because we really need to look at what is the child growing in, what's the child's growth in that class? Are we getting to that goal? Sometimes that goal will not match, that state return that we want, and that makes it difficult, because some of these co-teachers, I feel for them, because they're trying to get to that goal. However, they gotta now make sure that they are ready to take that state exam, which is really unfair for the kids as well as for the teachers.
Yeah, I hear you. It's all about that state exam. Oh, I hear you. Thank you so much for sharing, Freddie. How about you, Coach Goodman? What are some challenges that you see as far as implementing IEP goals?
Oh, well, implementing the IEP goals, and Freddie, I do agree with you on the high stakes standardized testing. There's a lot of pressure put on the teachers, but none on the students. So let's go ahead and clear that up. But when we are looking at IEP goals, my mindset is always this: your needs, your present levels, your findings drive your IEP goal, right? And then your IEP goal drives your services, and your services drive your placement, right? In that big continuum. So one of the biggest struggles in implementing national IEP goal is actually creating the correct IEP goal based on the needs of that child.
Yeah.
So when we're looking at our amazing case managers, team leads out there, the emphasis is on finding their needs, addressing the students' needs. That's going to drive that IEP goal. Trust me, if you can really understand your students' present levels, implement an IEP goal would be easier, because you already know what I need to work on this student with, things I need to use to work with this student to help them build and grow. That baseline number is that number where that student is at. So if you don't know where the student is at, you cannot implement an appropriate IEP goal, because you just out there winging it. The progress monitoring. So another big problem with implementing IEP goals is appropriate progress monitoring. Mostly we do every 9 weeks where we report to the parents, progress reports. So, but you can do it, of course, before then. If I'm just waiting the night before to do my progress report and it's making up percentages, then of course that's not an appropriate IEP goal, because effective progress monitoring will produce you will know exactly where that child is at. So writing appropriate goals affects how we implement the IEP goals, and also effective progress monitoring is a problem when trying to implement IEP goals, because we really don't know where that student is at. And then we'll get a student who is what we call resource in the general ed classroom, doing something that the general ed teacher understands. Oh, this student is struggling in this, but his goal is saying 35 out of 75 words. It's here and here. Whereas you got to look at where the student is at. And if they're in that general ed class, then that goal needs to be standards-based goal. If they're in that gen ed class for more than 80% of his day, it's still looking at the continuum. But to answer your question specifically, the toughest part is addressing that need of the student and effectively progress monitoring that goal.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that, Coach Goodman. Renisha, let's close it out, because I know you have something. You got some good too.
So I'm going to tell y'all, you guys are experienced educators in special education.
You're
talking about progress monitoring and using the unique system to build the goal. I'm going to tell you, I'm starting at the baseline. A teacher needs to know how to write the goal first. And so that starts with appropriate training. And that's a deficit. That's huge. I heard one of the teachers here say, well, I use unique learning, Mr. Gonzalez, to develop my goals. Well, you have to teach the teacher to use unique learning to develop the goals. And that always doesn't happen. The experience you share here, I'll tell you, I've sat in many R's with the best advocates. I know SPED law like the back of my hand. I cannot write an IEP goal before coming to this classroom. I know the law piece of it, assuring a free and appropriate education. It requires intentional training of the teacher on the instructional tools like unique learning, used as a tool, not a babysitter, a tool, an instructional tool, because the most powerful instruction is an educated and prepared teacher. But using that tool to help you gather that data. And then the training. Administrators, if you're here, teachers need training on effective goal writing to give every kid access to a quality education. We're copying and pasting to be compliant. Most recently, I was in the art and I said, we're being compliant. I need to change the life of a child. Behind that art paperwork is someone's child. So the teacher who's writing that goal needs the training to effectively draft a goal, to understand the baseline. Coach said, well, you need to know the baseline. Well, you got to teach me where the baseline is.
Yeah.
Teach me how to read the paperwork so I'm prepared. Understand how to take it apart and be ready to provide that kid access to instruction. So for me, the priority is training for a teacher to effectively analyze and read the IEP, because you can't implement and progress and monitor a goal that you haven't read or understood.
You know what? And snaps to all of you, because every single one of you saw it from a different angle. It was a pretty broad question. And each one of you, my teachers on the Freddie and Coach, you guys kind of saw it from the teacher level. And then Renisha just kind of said, hey, where's the training? And saw it as the administrative part of it. So you know what, guys, like and share this podcast, because these guys here are on fire when it comes to special education and special needs students, because they are bringing the receipts. Awesome. Thank you so much, you guys. Again, if you have not liked and shared the video right now, do so as we speak so that we can get other people to see this free knowledge that is being dropped right now, because you guys are awesome.
Very cool, very cool. Dr. Amy Matthews Perez, thank you for being here. I think you're retired already, if I remember. I'm glad you're enjoying that life out there. Very cool, very cool. Jasmine Perry, thank you for being here also on the show. Appreciate you. All right, guys, let's look at it from the administrative point of view. Freddie, we're going to start off with you, all right, brother? What support? It's 2 levels, as you know. What does central office need to do to help out first-year teachers, 20-year teachers, doesn't matter, especially with the ever-evolution of the paperwork, correct? And the systems that it's placed in, and the campus administration. What do you think, or what needs to be done to ensure that we support all our team members to help our babies?
Well, I've been blessed with great admin. Honestly, I'm not, there's no reason for me to, you know what? I've been blessed with great admin all my career. Going back to what you were saying as far as the training the teachers, and I came into I've used unique learning system for years. So I learned it, basically on my own, honestly. I learned it and I watched the videos. I did the trainings on my own. There was some training involved, but not very limited. It was more of a, just look into it and see what you get out of it. That's what it was. I'll be very honest. So I've had that experience with it. Coming to this district, I just moved to this district 3 years ago, and thank God they have the unique learning system, but I already knew it. So you have teachers that don't know it. You're absolutely correct. And they're they go around, our instructional leaders come around saying, are you sure? Do you know the unique learning? Are you good with it? Are you comfortable? I'm like, yes, because I've been using it forever. However, that new teacher going into this new system is not going to know. It's not going to even know where to look for those benchmarks, where to look for the baseline that you say, where to look for those present levels. And I do ask for help from Central. I do ask. My admin is amazing. My current admin, she supports me 100%. But we're always limited. I always get we're limited in funding. We're limited in resources. We're limited in what we can do. So really, it's you got to ask. You have to request and give a reason for the request. But in the end, really it comes down to the teachers themselves really getting involved in their own learning, and I don't hate to say that, it's just reality. You have to take ownership of your own learning so you can best serve the kids, because times are tough as far as funding, so you appreciate the instructional leaders, but sometimes even they're limited in what they can support you. I've just been blessed with doing this my whole career, so I know what to do. However, that new teacher, they need help, and of course, we're here to help, right?
Thank you. Yes, and that's the purpose of the show, with the educators like you that bring the knowledge bombs. Coach Goodman, central office, your campus administration. What do they need to do, brother?
Oh yeah, y'all call it central office. We call it this basically the district office, and the ed leadership in the building. Continue to be supportive. Let's go ahead and start there. When we look at retention, we'll work for anybody who supports us, right? We know that in the classroom, it can be trying sometimes, and what we want is support. We know that some things we can't control, not on our level politically, yes, but not on our level, is the money where they're allocating the funds at. But we do know that if a kid has a specific need and you got data to support it, then that student should get that need addressed. And that's what we need from the people who are controlling the purse, making the big decision. Is once we have the data to support things that we need, then we need that support from our district office and from our school leadership. But I will tell you this, throughout my career and even right now as a consultant, administrators are doing the best they can, because they're not only are they dealing with the building, they're dealing with outside the building and the higher. They are the glorified middleman. They got to make everything work because they are responsible for their entire campus. So when we're doing stuff with special services, the thing that we need the most from our administrator is the support. And when we come to you with data supported needs of that student, we expect that at least you're going to go to bat for us, right? Funding, everybody can say funding, right? We can throw money at stuff that we think we need at that moment, but there's nothing to support it. Or there's no way in the world we know that could happen. That's why y'all notice I didn't say we need support with ratio and class sizes. Good luck. So the biggest thing that we need from our administration in the central office is the actual support when we come to you with our needs that are backed up by data supported by those students. That's my opinion.
So true, Coach. And technically, I call it Versailles or the Ivory Tower, just for the record.
Ivory Tower. That was what I said.
Renisha, what you got? Administrator from central office or the campus level?
So I will tell you, I applaud the administrator that's doing the best that they can to be supportive and present. Keyword, supportive and present. Peace is free. Support is free. A special education teacher does not need money. They need time, access, support. So one of the teachers here talked about study the craft, study the unique, watch the videos, make the space and time that is appropriate for the teacher to be able to perfect that craft. Support looks like being present, period. Present, not just for the refinements, but for the wins on a daily basis. That, those deposits Josh was talking about, that administrator has to put those deposits in that child and that parent as well. So when you have to make a withdrawal because of a refinement, they know it's from a good place. And the other piece is the support of the administration, both at the campus and the district level, must know the craft. You cannot wing good leadership when you're dealing with special education. If you don't know it, you need to be in connection with the person who does all pieces of it. Because as you know, this work, there's some legal pieces to this work that are very, very important. And that I will tell you, a parent can be your best friend or your worst refinement. So you're going to need some stock in that parent, and you're going to need to know your craft. And all for me, everything that I need as an administrator, and many of my people are on this chat today that will tell you that I served for them. I served alongside them, changing diapers in the classroom, no substitute, I'm present. If you do the work of a teacher or a para alongside that teacher when it gets hard, they'll do anything you need them to do. It's not about the money, it's about the relationship. It's about the support and access.
Very, very true. Very true. So don't put off that parent. Make those positive phone calls. Because if they start with that, I'm bringing my advocate. Ay, Dios mío. Just kiss away 9 hours. You know why they're laughing? Because they've been on those. If you hear a parent say, I'm bringing my advocate, order lunch and dinner for everybody. That's all I'm telling you. Because that you don't have a table big enough for all the people at that ARD. You don't have this is one of those Louis the 16th Versailles tables that you're gonna need with all the specialists and lawyers and make deposits. And talk about making a deposit. How about some books? Hey, Superintendent Glenn Robbins, you want to learn about the dark side of education, and you're about to hit that 1 week off like we are next week. Hey, I won't back down. It connects how artists were told they were going to be losers, but are multimillionaires, but tied into education. Hey, administrator, it's coming. The end of October, November, when all those referrals start climbing up like that spider on Dr. Moreno's wall, calm in the chaos. You already have some team members that have that issue with discipline. Kevin Curtis, his book tells you how to control classrooms at the classroom level, campus level, district. He does like little things that you could post all over the building. He does all the work for you. And it's a great way. If you already, the documentation stuff, it's a great thing. Sean Kane, brand new book right here. Sean Kane, Renisha and I were followers of Fundamental 5, 1,000%, not 100%. Great story right there. Jimmy Costa's brand new book was on with us a couple of episodes ago, promoting it. And finally, if you're on break and you want to hear 23 stories by 23 educators, yours truly, part of this book, wrote the very last chapter, Barbara Bray, and it talks about the school known as Socorro, Freddie. It's in there right there. And the turnaround that happened, join us. All right. So,
awesome. Guys, I think we are almost to the end of our show, but Freddie, you mentioned it in your conversation. So, and you're going to hear the topic. I'm going to actually have Renisha start since she's the administrator, who has administrative experience. And but we're talking about alt certification and new teachers. And Freddie, you know what I was talking about because you mentioned it earlier about supporting our new teachers. But let's start off with Renisha. Renisha, talk to me about the best training that we can support our long-term subs, which we haven't spoken about, but very, very crucial in this point, right? Because we have, teachers that are absent and folks that haven't been filled, right? Positions haven't been filled. So what can we do, or what training can we provide to support and help understand and support our students who have IEP goals?
I'm going to tell you, from the IB classroom to the life skills room, I live, breathe, eat Fundamental 5. Fundamental 5 is my jam. Every kid needs access to critical writing and purposeful talk. And it's simple. It's at your fingertips. if there's any new teacher on here that needs anything about instruction that's ready-made, critical writing exit tickets and those type of things, a lesson framework where you just plug and play, you email me directly and I'll get you those things, because this village, it takes a village. But Fundamental 5 and an instructional framework where you can just add the access to the content. While I spent time at Eisenhower, I built a framework for them as the associate principal, where you just add the content, but all the tools for purposeful talk and critical writing and setting the stage for success are there. And so for me, all day, every day, Fundamental 5 is my go-to for quality instructional, simple task that I can close the learning instructional gap for every student.
Thank you. And look at that. Charlie Ann Banks also says that's her jam too. So you know what? Thank you so much. If guys out there in the virtual world, if you haven't heard about Fundamental 5, Josh just talked about a book. And so I highly, can you show that book one more time? Josh, just one more time, since I know Renisha mentioned it. There you go. If you haven't heard about it, I would highly suggest. You heard it from Renisha, a great PD to support. And I'm not talking about just long-term subs and alt-cert teachers. It's good for all teachers. So, thank you again for mentioning that particular professional development. Freddie, what do you have as far as supporting, and what suggestions can you give for supporting alt-cert, long-term subs, all teachers regarding IEPs and supporting our special needs kids? We can't hear you.
Man, I was the first one. Huh?
Okay. That's okay. I've been muting myself too, and I've been trying to intentionally make sure that I don't do that too.
So, strong mentor teacher. There you go. I had a very good mentor teacher when I started out. Like I said, I was in law enforcement before I became a teacher. I got into education. So, they're invaluable. And however, they themselves had to be, taught how to teach the teacher. I was just so blessed to have, his name's Randy Broaddus. We're still friends. And he was just very patient with me. I was impatient with myself. I was, the first day like most teachers, I got in there. I'm like, what did I get myself into? I was ready to put the badge back on and go back into the streets. But, he got me going. He taught me, the blueprint, the baseline, or the game plan that I call now is that IEP is read through it. A lot of new teachers or teachers in general, they just forget about it. They don't really know that it's so helpful, and in my years that I've been involved in education, even I have, I rely on my experience. I see a child that comes into my classroom, like, I kind of figure them out. And sometimes you don't, and it can lead to issues. So read that IEP. If you don't understand something in the IEP, make sure you ask questions, speak to the parent, talk to the parent, make them, become part of that learning process. Don't ignore them. Don't take them out of class or out of the school. Involve them. Let them know what's going on. One of the things I learned from Mr. Tovar was sending out those letters. It's amazing. You send out those cards saying, hey, this is what your child is doing. This is how well they're doing. And it's big time. Those kids will bring it back to school and show them, look what I got. Thank you. And it's huge, just to help these kids feel great about themselves, But yeah, those new teachers, get yourself a good mentor, or if you're assigned a good mentor, listen to them, talk to them, ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. That was my thing was when I got in there, I asked questions. I was like, I don't know anything. This is new to me. Help me. And, I've been blessed to be doing this, for 21 years now.
Awesome. All right, guys, you all heard it already. We have Fundamental 5 as a good resource, making sure we have a strong mentor teacher. Listen and make sure you take notes, ask questions, and don't be scared to ask those crucial questions. So thank you, Freddie. Coach Goodman, tell me something.
Well, I mean, good instruction, good research-based practices, and we talked about get yourself a good mentor. Unfortunately, we do deal with vacancies, and we do deal with long-term subs. The way we address it is, like, I'm a special services consultant, and we have schools. You have to start off with using your AP, your principal, your education leader in the building is going to figure something out. Because let me tell you what happens. What happens is this: you're going to have people on your back while my kid isn't progressing. And then the toughest thing for a parent to realize when you can tell them there's no certified teacher in that classroom. The next question out of that parent's mouth, I hope, is, so how is my student learning? What is your plan? Now, the way I've seen it, the best thing you can do is to use your team in the building. Let's say we have a long-term sub. If that long-term sub is showing up every day, that means they want to be there, right? So that means you will provide that long-term sub with everything they need and the support they need to at least keep the class moving, right? Now, if you're blessed to have a special ed department in your school where other teachers are there, then they can do the like Radisha said, the legal part of everything, because you can only write an IEP if you're special ed certified. Let's go ahead and throw that out. Those are the only people who can write an IEP. Now, providing instruction could be anybody in that building who's certified can provide that instruction. So you got reading, math interventionists. That's part of your continuum of services. For some reason, at certain places, they feel like those are just for kids without IEP. Oh no, everybody can get those services. So to support the long-term sub, pour in with the teachers that are in there, give them the resources they need, provide the support. For the vacancies is, and we're dealing with that in certain buildings where the principal has literally had to make a schedule where they are rotating teachers in that room to provide that instruction. Is that best practices? No. Is that better than putting them on? We use adaptive learning system called iReady. Is that better than sitting them on a laptop all day? Yes. Because the best teacher is the one face-to-face that can actually provide the instruction. So you got to adapt. So my answer to the question is long-term sub, pour and support. Vacancies is going to take a schedule, and you got to rotate people in there or make it to the fact that somebody's providing that instruction until you can fill that vacancy. Or if you get great administrators who will go in there and teach the class for you, there's certain you have to make it work. You can't just sit a student on a laptop all day. So I think my best practices in those situations is pour and support, make the schedule where you got teachers in there who can go in there and provide some instruction.
Coach, I want to make sure I send you flowers, because that is so many times we want to stick a computer in front of these children and saying, here, learn from this. And oh my God. So I want to make sure I'm going to send you flowers, because guys out there, you cannot put a kid in front of a computer. It cannot replace the human aspect of learning. So thank you again, Coach, for saying that. And I'm just snapping all the way from South Texas, because this is amazing. Thank you.
Arcel Austri, welcome. Make sure you watch all of it. A lot of nuggets being dropped today. Real quick, guys, We're all at the last two questions before we get into the lightning round. Not a dissertation, lightning round. So go into, I'm old, I use an Abacus, I still use a protractor. Go into your memory banks, to your card catalog, and give the audience one cool tip on how you've seen, you've done, you've observed, you've witnessed, whatever semantical term you want to use, in connecting with parents to the campus. An activity, other than the stuff that we've talked about already, other than the cards, the phone calls, what have you seen that has brought value to the connection between campus and SPED parents? Coach Goodman. Only one.
Listening to their child and addressing what that child is really saying. We call it having soft eyes, not hard eyes.
Renisha.
Some of my former parents are on here, and even my former students. Pictures. I send pictures of what's happening. Nothing's more powerful than a picture of live learning in the classroom.
I love it. I love it. And I saw that a lot with my kid in first grade with the seesaw stuff. I'm connected with that. I feel you. That's old, but it's new to me, which is really not old.
No,
Freddie.
Going back to those the lessons I learned from you is, communication with parents, sending those letters, sending that work home, letting them know your child's progressing. It's big time. A lot of these parents, they don't get the work taken home. I send the work home, let them know, hey, we're doing something in class instead of just sitting around.
Love it.
Guys, this is the
Mari?
last question. And guess what? It's an easy question because it is a fill in the blank. Coach, we're going to start off with you, my friend, because we're going to get this super easy. I'm going to give you a sentence with a blank and you just fill in the blank. Are you ready?
Let's go.
It starts off with, hey, educator, in 2025, 2026. Blank.
Blank. 2025, 2026, we are going to address every need of every child and provide them with a free and appropriate public education in the least restrictive environment.
Snap to you, Coach. Awesome. Yes. Renisha, how about you? Hey, educator, in 2025, 2026.
You are valued, needed, and appreciated, and irreplaceable.
Love it. Freddie, let's close it out, sir, before the Échale Ganas questions. Hey, educator, in 2025, 2026.
We're going to do the best for kids.
Love it. Simple, and yet factual. Awesome. Thank you. All about the kids. Every decision should be about the kids.
Let's close this off with the lightning round. Échale ganas. Coach Goodman, I don't know if you hear this word a lot in South Carolina country, but ganas is a spiritual word. I know Freddie knows it. Freddie's from the hood down in the 915. He knows that. Renisha, she's been around the Hispanic hood somewhat. She's heard ganas, but I don't know about them Gamecock country over there. So ganas is a spiritual word. It's a generational word that connects everybody from Bolivia to Peru to Argentina, Mexico, Puerto Rico, Cuba. We all use this one word. This is the only thing that really connects us all. Other than that, trust me, we don't use the same vocabulary. We don't use the same words. We don't. We're totally different. Our speeds are totally different. But in the end, one word unites us all. Our grandma is going to be at the mariachi contest and yell, "Échale ganas, mija." We do all those things. So I need you to do that spiritual connection. Échale ganas. So here we go. Give advice to a new teacher.
Who?
Coach Goodman. I'm sorry. I thought I said Coach Goodman. I'm sorry.
Advice to a new teacher. Listen, this is a marathon. Take it one day at a time.
Read a note, an email, a text from a teacher or a student which brought you happiness.
I got a message on Facebook. This for me, right? I got a message on Facebook from a former student. He is 24 years old. He was kind of thanking me for back in middle school when he was in 7th grade that I did not write him up for something he did, and that kept him in school.
Send some flowers to an active educator who inspires you in your work.
Most definitely. My colleagues. It's a lot of them, but the other special services consultant, because it gets hard sometimes, and sometimes you need that support system to make you come back tomorrow.
Name one person in the audience they should follow on social media?
Besides you, I would definitely say you need to follow. Oh shoot, you need to follow your district webpage. You gotta be caught up with what's going on in your county.
All right. What's the best movie series? John Wick or The Matrix? Which holiday is better? Thanksgiving or New Year's?
Thanksgiving for sure.
March Madness or the Super Bowl?
Super Bowl.
In your opinion, what is the best series on either HBO or Netflix?
Best Game of Thrones for sure.
How can people get a hold of this consultant right here from South Carolina?
On Twitter at Coach Goodman, on Facebook at Coach Goodman 77, which is my birthday.
There we go. There we go. Señor Freddy. Señor, ¿estás listo?
Yes,
Are
sir.
you ready? Here we go. Give advice to a first-year teacher.
Love what you do and do what you love.
Read a note, an email, a text from a teacher or student, which
Right
happiness.
before one of my students got on the bus, she handed me a note. It said, "Coach, you are the best."
Love it. Send some flowers to an active educator who inspires you in your
Gilbert
work.
Macias, he was my partner back at the Socorro days, best friend, and we learned from each other. He's awesome.
Name one person the audience should follow on social media.
Jefe, it's got to be you. Josh Tovar, too much positivity coming from you. I watch you, you know, I may not like everything that you put out, but I listen to everything. You know, I like it. I just don't have the time to push that little button. But you, Jefe, all the time.
Stop. Press the button, dude. I need you to press the button.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. John Wick or The Matrix?
Definitely.
Thanksgiving or New Year's?
Because the Cowboys play.
We were doing so good, sir. We were doing so good. March Madness or Super Bowl? What is the best series either on HBO or Netflix,
grew up
sir?
in the 80s, watched Karate Kid, so Cobra Kai on Netflix.
How can people get a hold of you and pick that brain? Hey, he's a commentator for high school sports, so you got to pick that brain. That's the cat right there. Also,
you know, I'm El Big Fred on all my socials. ELBIGFRED. Yeah, I got X, Instagram, and Facebook.
Love it. And let's close it out, Renisha. Bring the fire. Give advice to a first-year teacher.
You matter.
Read a note, an email, a text from a teacher or student that brought you happiness.
My sweet Jordan, I'm sure he's on here. My Jordan Brown Grover, who graduated from Eisenhower High School with a regular diploma with cerebral palsy and a speech impairment.
Wow.
He said, "Thank you for seeing me." He has a bracelet on his wrist, just like me from my Lakewood church. I went to see him most recently. He had some seizures, and it was a bracelet that says "Overcomer." And as soon as I got there, he said, "Take it off and give it to me." So my Jordan Brown Grover.
Love it. Send some flowers to an active educator who inspires you in your work.
Dr. Latonya Goffney, I see you. She is the superintendent of Aldine ISD, but she's a woman of faith, and she comes from a journey of less than, and who just accomplished great things. It gives me hope.
All right. Name one person the audience should follow on social media.
Did I see Principal Kafele on here today? I love him. Principal Kafele and Sean Kane.
What's the best movie series, John Wick or The
I
Matrix?
don't have time for TV. I'm working on a doctorate. No, John Wick.
Snap.
Which holiday do you prefer, Thanksgiving or New Year's?
Thanksgiving, my sweet potato pie all day long.
March Madness or Super Bowl?
Super Bowl, them Cowboys.
In your opinion, what is the best series on either HBO or Netflix if you have one?
Don't know. I'm busy.
And how can people pick your brain while you're not working on your PhD about the Fundamental Five?
They can pick my brain on X. I'm very involved on X. I share my story of being a mother of a kid with autism, but also an educator. And my blog is also posted there. But anything I can do for any teacher, you name it, you inbox me, I'm here. I'm here to serve.
Thank you, everybody, for being here on the call today. Appreciate you, panel. Thank you very much. And join us next week for our Principal Roundtable number 6, where we got principals from all over the country. But remember, you got to make sure that you log in. You got to make sure that you share this, because this is free PD. As we all know, there is no more money in education, but this is all free for you. Please make sure that you reach out, you like it and share it, and be part of the conversation. Panel, say goodbye to everybody.
Hang up.
But don't hang up. Thank you, audience, for sticking around. We appreciate you. We'll see you next week at 5 p.m. Central. Peace.